Okay, so update on some modifications that I made to my stove. I've added, let me push this back. Okay, I have added a power switch, a front control panel, which is not done yet because I would like to put some screws or some standoffs here and make it so it's a little more rigid. I added a potentiometer just temporarily because I wanted to be able to adjust the speed, but these motors have they're rated for 12 volts and they're designed to operate at full speed, or voltage rather, and so adjusting the voltage down to like 0 or 1 or 2 or 3 isn't going to make the speed of the motor change. It's just not going to run. So somewhere between 7 volts and 12 volts is the operating range of this motor, at about just over half an amp of current. So the ultimate solution, what I'm going to purchase, is a speed controller for a fan for a computer, which is basically a pulse width modulator. It'll allow the voltage to go from, or the speed of the motor to go from like basically not running all the way up to full speed by adjusting the pulse. So the amount of full voltage that it gives it, like 12 volts for a computer fan, is roughly usually the voltage or whatever. So basically allowing it to pulse the motor at full voltage would, in the duty cycle of the fan, allow it to go from its smallest amount of RPMs per minute all the way up to the maximum without sacrificing stalls and stuff like that, generating any stalls and sacrificing any performance of the motor. So this motor is designed to run at 12 volts, like I said, and it would allow it, and they're very inexpensive. You can get them with RPM gauges and stuff like that, or multiple fans. This is just going to be a one fan, probably going to have an RPM gauge on it. Very simple circuit. You just, to hook it up, you just basically give it power and send the output to the fan, and it's done. So that's what I'm going to end up doing. This is, of course, my power lead going in with the RCA audio, so I can just unplug it. The reason why I went with that, and I'm still using the 12 volt power supply, is this is pretty unpractical to use, so I'm just having fun out in the backyard, so I'm not going to end up running on battery power. If I make a smaller unit or decide I want to try it out in the field, then of course I'll make some type of circuit to charge a rechargeable battery or something, and come up with like a battery pack or something and make it so that I can use it practical application. So anyway, so that's pretty much the wiring. It's pretty simple. It's just power coming in, going to this automotive fuse, which is 12 volts, has a light in it. The output is then going into, this is basically set up as a rheostat. This is the only potentiometer I could find at the store where I went. And then just taking the output and this rheostat, to make a potentiometer or rheostat, you just take one of the two leads from the wiper. Either the wiper is the one in the middle, either the wiper in this one or the wiper in that one, and it forms a rheostat. And I added this resistor just to bring the resistance down on the potentiometer because it's in parallel. And then the output is fed into the motor, and then the ground is taken off of the switch. And like I said, it doesn't work 100% perfect, but I knew that going into it. It works basically, like I said, from about 7 or 8 volts up to 12 volts it'll run. And then of course this motor is just over half an amp of current, and this is roughly around half amp of current. So there's some spots where I'm getting some arcing, or you're going to get some arcing. So there's some dead spots in the potentiometer, but like I said, it was inexpensive. It's just proof of concept, and the ultimate circuit, which is going to lay down in here somewhere. And then I'm going to have a guard, some type of guard where you can still see, but it's like something like this, maybe. Piece of the inner part of well, I guess it protects the outside of the air filter. Something like would lay down like that and form some type of removable grate. It's not necessary, but just to keep the wires kind of hidden back there, but still accessible. So anyways, yeah, that's the circuit. It's pretty simple. So I'll add those three things, and then the standoffs and the grate, and then adjustment, and yeah. So and then the top part, I added this, which is just a piece of 6-inch. I don't know. It's like a coupler for AC stuff, like whatever. And I just added that because my concern was when I get this loaded up with fuel and it's running, if I go to mess around with this anyway, like sometimes I take it off with like this, because it has a convenient handle. I didn't want it to knock it off when I went to reach for it and spill it. It's happened to me a couple times off camera. So I added this, tied it into this assembly, which I've worked on a little bit. There's two pieces inside here. There's one on the top and one on the bottom, which sandwiches in this carbon felt, and the air comes in from right here. I don't know if you can see with my hand there. I'm going to use this. So, like I said, there's a grate here, then the carbon felt, and then another grate underneath this. And the air comes in from underneath. This is off of the bottom. Air comes in from outside, and as long as air is coming in, any embers that make it into here either going to stay here or are going to be blown back up into here and just sit up here. And this is fine because this can take it. And I've run it several times like this. But these, yeah, so this was one of the, I already have a video I'm uploading right now as I speak, actually, that has this in it, so I've already run it on camera. I just didn't talk over it. It was at night and stuff, and it was just something I was filming. I decided to upload. But I made these to come off, so this can come off really quick if I need to. I bought the wrong size of these thumb wing nuts or whatever, so I could probably put wing nuts here on all four. So just add 2 here. What I ended up doing is tapping them out with the tap and die set that I had, and then this will all come out without having to use a wrench or anything. And underneath on the bottom, if you can see a little bit, there's some right here. So the whole thing is pretty much, you can take it apart in, no more than 5 minutes and do any type of repairs you want. And then of course everything will just go right back together. So this is just paint from the inside of this lid. You can just tell you that all this is getting a lot of temperature. If you're going to do anything like this, this is galvanized, so I don't expect, it doesn't really see any fire or that much heat, but if you do have any issues with it, I would run it for a while, stay away from it, because this has a coating on it that is not very good for us. Okay, so that's pretty much everything that I've done different to it, I think. Like I said, the 1 quart version just has the same. I haven't done anything different to it. I don't see any point in adding all this to it. It runs great by itself. This was just some fun. I've added some carbon felt. I don't know if I've talked about this as a way of insulating the fans, because this area gets hot, and also just keeps the air. Make sure it goes into the container versus escaping down here, because these are kind of close and it can draw air depending on how much there's a little resistance on the motor itself. The closer it is to the ground, it's pretty much got to fight to get air in it, where if you had it up like a little bit higher. But I had issues with stability, so I didn't want to go up that much higher. Concerns about stability, so I didn't do anything like that. I just, about 1 inch is what I've been keeping it at. Let me lower this down. And I'm going to, let's see if you can see here. I've got some pellets in here and they've been soaking a little bit. I've been putting alcohol on them because I do alcohol stove and it's a good accelerant. Let me plug this in. Okay. I keep my alcohol in these type of containers, and it's pretty convenient. I'm just gonna freshen this up. It's been sitting for a while. We've been talking. These pretty much, as soon as they see how they dissolve, yeah, they start to loosen up with all that amount of alcohol. So they swell up with it. Now, it's kind of hard to see, but it's lit. I suggest if you're going to get into this or you want to mess around with fire, I did this the other day. Yeah, this is one of the issues with the motor is that it forms like a dead spot. It forms like a dead spot in there where it's arcing. But like I said, the other controllers may work really good. Yeah, so I did this the other day, and I've gotten bit quite a few times, and like I said, these are all spots where ash has come down and landed on my skin. You can see on my arms here. So that was part of the inspiration with wanting to add a speed controller to slow down the amount of air going through, because as this burns through and it gets lower and lower and lower, more air is able to go through it. Okay? As more air is going through, it's going to be blowing up all this ash that you just generated. So you'll start to see that. I didn't see that problem with my other container because I wasn't blowing as much air. I was restricting it with the carbon felt that I had put on there. I had just put that right in front of the motor and was asking the motor to push through that. Now what I'm doing is just bridging the motor, the fan, with the carbon felt and just putting it in between the motor and where I'm asking it to blow. So basically it's going around it. There's still some restriction, but you know, this is on low as it started, so I'm going to turn it up now. And then as it gets going, more and more air is going to find its way up to the top and then where it's burning and all that. You'll start to see a more of a dedicated column. And already I'm starting to see some ash come down, so what I'm going to end up doing is probably moving and shooting this from farther away. In fact, let me just push it back. Because I can also just turn the switch off and it will kill it pretty quick. Let me put you this way. You can't really see that it's going up. I did notice from my other two uploads that I've uploaded videos on of the stove after the modifications was made to the carbon felt, that using the aspen pellets is what I'm using right here, which is just bedding for animals. That is a little bit less sparking and a little bit less ash that comes off it. It still produces a lot of ash, but the other stuff that I was using it was basically like a ficus tree that we took down, and it had a lot of I don't know, just a lot of sparking, a lot of popping and stuff with the ash. It would blow up, it would burn a little bit differently. So I didn't really enjoy that too much. But I only was running it because I was out of this stuff. I just picked up another bag. I don't know the exact amount of poundage or whatever. It goes by cubic